Welcome! You're listening to the DISCMANIACS podcast. This week's cast is brought to you by Thunder Disc Golf and Discmania Incorporated.
All right, boys. Well, here we are in the first episode of the DISCMANIAC podcast. To start off, we've got three hosts here. I'm Dave Reeves. I am also the purveyor of disc golf content on YouTube. My channel is Thunder Disc Golf. Who else do we have here? We've got...
it'll be Jaime Murrow over here. I'm a lead pressman over here at Discmania. So if you guys got anything related to Discmania questions, I'm your guy. And then we also got a fabulous 1,000 rated plus Tyler over here.
Yeah, Tyler Liebman, Fort Collins, Colorado. I have a normal day job, but play professional disc golf as a side job.
Very good.
Yeah, you said...
And sponsored by Latitude for like 7 years.
Yeah, you said your winnings are up pretty decently for the past little while, huh?
Yeah, got a win this year, first tournament of the season, and then didn't play so hot in the next one, and then got quarantined. So here we are.
Good times. All right, so the way we're going to start out the show is, since this is the first episode, I really just wanted to let you guys get an opportunity to get to know the three of us and kind of who we are and why we think we have the right to talk about disc golf in the first place, which probably Jaime and Tyler are going to have a lot more to say than I do on that front. But yeah, so just getting started out, I'm excited to learn a little bit more about you guys, because part of the reason I wanted to do this with both of you is just to learn a little bit more about you and your passion for disc golf. So let's go and start. Tyler, why don't you tell us, like, how did you get started in disc golf? Like, what kind of brought you to the sport in the first place?
Yeah, so my dad has been playing, like, throw frisbee lids at trees since, like, the 70s.
Oh, dang.
And they would just make a course in like their little apartment complex or whatever. And I don't know when exactly he started playing tournaments. His PDGA number's 4 digits. I know that.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So he's an old timer.
I'm actually a little surprised that it's not even lower than that if he started in the 70s, but...
Well, he didn't start playing... Okay, so he's been a member since 2000.
Okay, gotcha.
So he was just kind of messing around in the park before that.
Oh, cool.
But I played baseball all growing up, and then baseball was kind of dying out, and disc golf kind of just took over. So been playing tournaments for a long time. And
nice. So you kind of just started... When did you... Like, at what age did you start playing tournaments?
So I'm 31 now. Started playing tournaments in 2004.
Okay.
So math. 16 years ago, I was 15.
Okay.
Ooh, that was
Nice.
fast.
Quick math.
And then I was probably playing for like 2 years, just super casual before that.
Okay. Wow, so your ramp-up period was pretty quick then, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play well when I started tournaments. I got dead last a few times in rec and juniors, and
But to be honest, like, who did start really well? Like,
right.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a learning process.
Yeah.
So you started playing tournaments, you lose some rec tournaments, and then how did you get into the position that you are now with Latitude? Like, how did that come about?
So going back a little bit, I graduated high school in 06. And baseball was pretty much life before that. So once that ended, I needed some sort of competitive outlet. And that was when I really started caring about trying to be good at disc golf and trying to like practice. And I think I went pro in 2008, if I remember right. With mixed success. I think I remember cashing. I shot my first 1,000 rated round and got last cash. And I accepted and just moved up from there.
Nice.
So that was, 3 years, basically? You went from losing rec to playing an open?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Dang.
I think I won one advance. Oh, no, that's it. I shot my first 1,000 rated round and won my first advanced tournament. Moved up the next weekend to pro and then cash, and that was when I moved up.
Nice. So then how did you meet with Latitude? Like, how did that relationship come about?
So my dad, he had the ear of Svante, who is, I think he's more on the marketing side of Latitude.
Okay.
And he just harassed him over email for like 2 years before Latitude was big, like they are now. They weren't partnered. I think they were partnered with Westside still, but there was no dynamic discs. They had a pretty minimal lineup, but my dad just liked their stuff, and he just kind of kept talking to him. And then we ran into him in 2013 at Charlotte Worlds and kind of got to know him a little bit better. And they were sending my dad like prototype plastic just from the relationship that he built.
Interesting.
And he's like, hey, my son's actually good. Like, my dad he's a solid grandmaster pro, but he's not on tour or anything, obviously. So they ended up sponsoring me then. We were both sponsored. We were one of the first 3 people sponsored in the US by Latitude, which is pretty sweet.
Okay.
Dang.
And then I've been with them since then.
So do you have like a pretty consistent communication flow nowadays? Like what does that relationship look like right now? Like, do they send you plastic, or like what's kind of your
so
role?
we get like I'm down at the ambassador team now. I was, I think, the core team, but we have picked up so many people. Like when I started, it was 6, I think, was the US sponsored even the next year, and now we have nearly 100 people sponsored by Latitude. So
Dang.
they really kind of took the grassroots approach to building their brand, where they weren't really concerned with your skill level. We have a lot of amateurs sponsored, and if you're just a good guy and Latitude thinks that you could bring something to the company, then they'll look at you.
Right.
And I like that approach, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely
but
cool.
with such a big team, I definitely don't. If I message Tomas, who's the disc designer, he usually is pretty good about getting back, but it's not like we're chatting all the time.
Sure, yeah. Well, that's pretty cool, man. So one thing to wrap up kind of these intro sections, what have you been throwing lately? What's in your bag right now? If you could choose just like one disc that you're really leaning on these days.
So the Ballista Pro has been a staple since it came out. I think I have 4 in my bag. One, I would cry if I lost. It's just beat up perfectly. It's nice and flippy. And then my other one was a felon. I used past tense because I left it in a field like 2 days ago.
Oh.
And
man.
I'm pretty sure a kid
Rip.
found it and he pocketed it, and I asked him and he's like, oh, I don't think I found a disc of yours.
Oof.
Oh man.
And I couldn't go search his bag. That was be a little too far, but I'm pretty sure he has it, and I definitely pretty bummed about that one. It wasn't been in there for like
Wait,
3
so you
years.
asked him, you said,
Oh,
I don't
3
think I
years.
found a disc of yours. No.
Yeah, I was like, did you find a disc on hole 1? And he's like, I don't think so. And I just kind of looked at him like, what does that mean?
Was this that round that I was supposed to come play with you this last weekend?
It was, I think it
you?
was on Sunday. Yeah, it was.
Mm.
Yeah, I needed you. You could have protected my felon.
I'll take the blame on that one.
If only you were there, you could have picked it up for him.
Yep.
It's all right. Donate to the cause,
Yeah, exactly. Some
For the sport. Yeah.
yeah,
So
you'll
you-
need a nice beat up 3-year-old felon out of my bag.
Yeah. So you throwing is the Ballista Pro, that's just like your max D, or you like shot shaping with that? Because those are a little bit more flippy.
So the
Right.
a little shout out to Tristan Tanner,
Oh.
kind of an up and comer pro who throws it. I think he might have the most combined distance, like thumber, tomahawk, forehand, backhand.
Okay.
He might lead the world. It's close. And his signature Ballista Pros are super domey, and they're pretty dang stable at elevation. Obviously, I'm playing at 5,000 feet, so
Right.
things are a little more stable when I go down to elevation. I usually swap up my bag a little bit, but
Nice.
yep.
Cool, man. Well,
Yeah.
good to know kind of your story now, and because I always knew you work with Latitude and were a sponsored player with them, but kind of I didn't know you ramped up that quick. So Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jaime, how did you get started? Like, what kind of is your disc golf journey? What does that look like?
So my disc golf journey starts back when I was 20. I'm 24 now. So about 4 years ago, I started playing. But the way I found it was I was bored out of my mind, about to play some video games like any other young kid. And my brother walks in. He's like, "Hey, you want to go play some disc golf?" I was like, "What is disc golf?" And he's like, "Yo, you don't do these cagings." I'm like, "I never seen it." And then next thing you know, like my friend DJ, he tells me, "Oh, there's these cagings that we passed by at Glen Helen, which is a course back in California." And I actually graduated, like our little ceremony was there, and I was like, so he kind of rang a bell, like, okay, I do know what these things are. Anyways, I go to Dick's Sporting Goods. My brother's like, just pick a disc that you like. I didn't know what the flight numbers meant or anything. My brother's was tie-dyed, so I bought a tie-dyed disc. Right? His was a Champion Boss that was tie-dyed, and mine was a tie-dye Daedalus. Didn't know how I was going to fly. My brother's like, hey, I forehand because playing baseball, our whole family played a lot of baseball, and he's like, playing baseball sidearms pretty easy. And so I started off sidearming, loved it, just hooked. Bought another disc. Didn't buy a putter though. That's the thing. I continued to putt with my discs, like my drivers. My second disc was a Champion Beast, and then my third disc was a Champion Thunderbird, a 3-time Paul Macbeth Thunderbird. And next thing you know, someone finally told me, like, yo, you would putt a lot straighter if you just got a putter. So I finally got a putter. And so the journey continued. I played tournaments, played rec. I took third place in rec in like my third tournament. I was like, this is pretty easy. I'm going to move up, go to intermediate. Moved on. Played for 3 years, was hooked, wanted to take the pro route. And then I was like, it's going to be kind of hard for me to work, get money in my situation, and try to travel the road. So I was like, I can't do this. But then I reached out to a good friend of mine, Austin Montgomery, and he basically had a tryout for me at work for Discmania, and basically was on this side of the disc golf world, and was basically working for disc golf. And after that, I moved to Colorado last year, which is so after 3 years of playing in the sport.
Wait, so what were you, just for, I mean, I know, but what did you end up doing with Discmania? Like, you ended up working at the actual store, right?
Yeah, I started working at the warehouse and everything. The tryout was mystery boxes, which is a big thing for Discmania. It was a lot to take in, honestly. My third day of working with mystery boxes, I got a surprise, like, hey, CEO UC is going to come in today.
Oh, jeez.
I'm on a tryout. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I know who he is and everything. And I'm like starstruck, honestly. Walks in, face is red, and he just says a couple words, "Thank you. This means a lot for your help." And goes to the other side of the warehouse, and I'm just like, oh wow, like, told me thank you. And basically, that's how I got started. They liked me.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
So you already knew Austin, though, right? Because what is Austin's title these days?
Austin is the director of operations. So basically, right. Over here in the U.S., anything that happens, he has the eyes out for it. He knows what's going on.
Yeah. So you had already known Austin. Did you know anybody else that was working there at the time, or?
I met Austin and Chris at the same time because I went to go play a doubles round with Austin, Chris, Erno, who also was working in the U.S. at the time. And he was, I think, like vice president of something. I forgot what. Sorry, but I met them three.
He's basically like top two, right? It's basically it goes UC like, and then Erno, right?
Right, man. Yeah, it's like UC, Yuho, and Erno. Basically, like I would say top three of the company, basically.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I met him at a round and basically impressed them with my putting and all that stuff. And they're like, okay, I like this kid. Like, he has game. He also knows about disc golf. He throws a lot of our stuff. At the time, I was throwing a mixed bag of Innova and Discmania, but more towards Discmania.
Yeah.
There's a couple discs that I still had that I just felt like Discmania didn't have at the time that I was throwing.
So that's crazy. You actually just met him on a random doubles match.
Well, yeah, because my best friend DJ, he knew Austin before me. He's like, hey, you should come with us and play this doubles round. And I met so many people that day. I met Sam Ferens. If you guys don't know who Sam Ferens is, he's one of the youngest, I think, to win, become a world champion, I think, and all that stuff. He's really good. And then also those three guys.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So then you go to work for Discmania, and then Discmania moves to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Which that was,
And,
what, 2 years ago? A year ago?
a year ago, we moved here at the end of December of 2018,
Right.
and I moved out here very literally January 3rd on my birthday. Driving out here to Colorado,
Which
and now
you were pretty much born and raised by Rancho in California, where the warehouse used to be, right?
a little bit further. If some people back in California would know this as up the hill or the Cajon Pass. So I was about 35, 40 minutes depending on traffic
Right.
away
But you
from
were still
Rancho.
from around there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So then that was a pretty big move for you, huh? Just
Yeah. I just basically said, yeah, I'm down to go. I left all my 8 siblings behind and my 2 parents, and basically my whole family's in California. But yeah, and came out here to Colorado, and I love it. It's definitely a big experience in my life, and met some awesome people like Tyler. And yeah, here I am.
It's crazy. Love it.
Nice, man. All right. So now these days you're stamping discs and
Yeah,
filling
I
orders.
I have a lot of things that I do there at the warehouse, from lead pressman to safety manager. It's just got to make sure everyone's safe and all that stuff, and especially right now during this whole COVID thing, like I got to make sure everything's clean, everybody's wearing masks, and
Right. Cool, man. Well, I'll ask you the same question to wrap up then. What disc in your bag right now are you really digging lately?
I'm digging 2 discs, but 1 disc more than the other. I'm digging the Tactic, of course, and the XL Plastic, but more the Neo Essence. I know it's not out yet, but I've been throwing it, and it's a reliable fairway driver. If you need it to flip up, you can flip it up, and it'll hold the Annie angle real nice. You can throw it with a little bit more hyzer and flip up and go straight for you, and just it has so much glide, honestly, and I love it.
Yeah. So you throwing that because you obviously being by Tyler in Colorado, you're at 5,000 feet basically. So are you still kind of throwing that for like flip turnovers?
Yeah, as of right now, I mean, I've had the disc for 2 weeks now, and so I'm doing it for flippy turnovers basically.
Nice. Cool, man. Well, that leaves one person, me. So, yeah, starting out for me was I had played once or twice with my brother with his basically, DX Innova starter set stuff, and eventually ran into disc golf as more of an actual pastime for me once one of my friends, Kevin Shaw, which shout out to him, and
Great guy.
IFC Inland Flight Club, and yeah, just he came up and visited me. I'm from the Northwest, so he came up and was like, hey man, you guys got a bunch of cool courses up there, we should go check them out. And we ended up playing something like, it was like 80 something holes or something like that, like in a day. Like we just played
Just
3
marathon
courses like twice. We were like, I love this game. Like, so that was, I can't even remember how long ago that was. It was probably, let's see, I'm like 29 now. I was probably like 18 or something. Man, I've been playing a while. 19? Yeah, something like that. I think it was 19.
Okay.
I've been playing longer than I think.
Time goes quick, man.
Right? But yeah, so really got into the game, and from that point, I pretty much was playing the next few years, like at least once a week most of the time, unless it was raining, and sometimes even when it was, and mostly kind of playing by myself. And then eventually, after the first couple years, I started looking into, how can I meet more people playing and start getting competitive, which I found this group around here called Stumptown Disc Golf. It's they if you guys are familiar with, well, I know you guys are familiar with it, but Beaver State Fling, they put that on, they organized that whole thing. So they're kind of a big deal. The guys there, at the time, there's a guy named Jeff Haggerty who's still like huge in the area. He's still involved with Stumptown, but at the time he was pretty much, he was the guy running BSF and all that stuff. So ended up linking up with him, playing like random weekly doubles and stuff. And at that point, it became more of an obsession than it was a pastime.
Okay.
So yeah, just playing as much as I possibly could. I got a job where I traveled a lot. So I was traveling a lot to Southern California and Nevada. So playing every course I possibly could whenever I had the spare time after work to play, pretty much. And yeah, so did that for, a few years, and, never really found any success in tournaments, really. And something I still kind of want to get myself more into. But what I did find was a lot of good friends in disc golf, and ended up starting my own league about 3 years ago called Northwest Flyers, just up in this area, running some weeklies. We started with bag tags, and at that point, pretty much disc golf is, besides, as you guys know, video games, disc golf is pretty much the main thing in life right now. And it kind of started, kicking back up, because for a while when I had started playing tournaments and didn't do as well as I wanted to, I got a little bit discouraged and didn't really know, like, I had this huge passion for disc golf, but I just wasn't playing well in tournaments. And so starting my own league and getting involved more in my community, and eventually now for the last 2 years being on the DISCMANIA, well, what used to be the DISCMANIA media team, but now we're part of the official DISCMANIA team as ambassadors. So basically the same thing as you, Tyler, where, they send us plastic to check out and spread the word about. And that's how my YouTube channel kind of got started, or really started going to a place where it wasn't just me recording random things and not editing them very well, like really started focusing on that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at these days now with disc golf, is just promoting Discmania is my main thing right now. If quarantine wasn't going on, I'd still be running my league, but more on that to come, hopefully. Because yeah, I was actually really excited to get back into that, because I was running leagues, but again, I kind of hit somewhat of a plateau, like not really knowing how to progress that and keep putting my passion into it and feel like I'm growing with it. And so this year I was going to, or am going to, turn that league into a charity league for a charity called UPlay Disc Golf, Universal Play Disc Golf.
Okay.
With Dustin Keegan, who, shout out to him, he's Discmania sponsored now and just local to the Portland area, so that's awesome. Nice. And then Zoe and Dyke, so both of them run that both charity. Awesome people. Yep, yeah. Zoe and Dustin are basically like treasures of the Northwest. Like, they are really awesome ambassadors for the sport, and really, obviously, we've seen Dustin and Zoe in tournament coverage a lot, so they definitely represent the Northwest really well, both in the things they do off the course and on the course. So I was really excited to get involved with them and kind of look towards them as, my kind of future influence, basically. But with that delayed, I'm like, so
right. Yeah.
But so that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm still, check out my YouTube channel, and so that's pretty much where I'm at these days. And as for me, a disc that I finally got out to play for the first time since basically the lockdown started in early March. I actually went out and played a round, which was awesome. And I actually was digging the tactic, the Exo Hard tactic, because I lean a lot on my forehand for approach shots and even just kind of general shot shaping, to be honest. If I'm stuck behind a tree, if I need to lean out, I'm always going to lean out, to the right for my forehand. Or if I need to pitch up 150 feet or like 200 feet, if I can throw a forehand, I'm going to, just because I don't know, something about it is just more point and shoot.
And did you start, did you start forehand or did you start backhand?
I actually started backhand.
That's rare.
Because I know you have somewhat of a baseball history too, right?
Yeah, I do. I played baseball. So yeah, that might have something to do with it, that I just feel like I can square up my hips. I know kind of where my hips should be pointed to throw a certain direction. So yeah, probably that has something to do with it for sure. But it's definitely, I'm way more comfortable with that. And I had thrown the Prodigy A2. I don't know if you guys ever threw that.
Yeah, and I've thrown those a few times for sure.
Yeah, so I used to throw that a lot for my forehand approaches, even as I kind of first started getting into Discmania.
That's a pretty stable putter, right?
Yeah, it's definitely stable. It's, I'd
Kinda
say, more
tactic-like.
stable than a harp for sure.
Okay.
But not. It definitely doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, it's stable. So yeah, kind of in that harp category, and even through me finding my passion for just the Discmania plastic in general, I was still throwing an A2. And once the MD5 came out, I switched to the MD5 for my forehand approaches. But just now that I have the tactic, like a truly, kind of that harp category disc, and in that like
putter.
exo hard plastic that, like grippy, like it reminds me of like a harp or an A2. The plastic that I would get for those discs was very similar to what now the tactic, the exo hard tactics. So super comfortable, and yeah, it would just felt on point, which was nice.
I think that's going to be a hot seller for you guys.
Yeah,
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, I would bet money.
Yeah, they're definitely really nice. I'm also kind of curious to see what I always end up reading or looking through the infographics that like Infinite puts out. Just to see kind of where everything stacks up against one another. But yeah, between the tactic and the essence, which I also got one, which I'm lucky, those are definitely, you kind of took the words out of my mouth, those are definitely two that I'm like debating between being really awesome. But I think I just gotta get my form back a little bit from quarantine before I can.
Yeah, we all got that quarantine form.
Yeah.
I know.
Be confident in those flip turnovers, so
Yeah.
But yeah, so at this point, I was kind of thinking we could check out what's going on in the disc golf world. I think this will kind of be a segment that we continue doing through to the rest of our episodes. So the first thing, I saw that Disc Golf Park is making like a disc golf mecca in Finland, basically.
This is true.
So what was it? It was like 16 courses or something.
Yes, 16. Which is a lot. If you think about it, I mean, they could be 16 9-holes, and that's still a lot. But I mean, there's definitely gonna be like 18s to maybe even a 27 course. But I mean, anyways, 16 courses is a lot of courses.
Well, and here it says, if you own or rent a boat, you can probably play all 16 courses in 3 days without stress.
Oh my gosh.
That sounds sick.
Renting a boat and just going boat life fishing and stuff.
Oh, man. Yeah,
it's like super, isn't it super nice over there? Like the weather's like pretty much always good except for
winter. Winter is probably
a little rough.
A little rough over there for sure.
Yeah, 'cause they get snow and stuff, right?
It's a summer destination.
Yeah, for sure, summer thing.
So
they have like the disc golf cruise. Like I could see this taking over that kind of getaway for disc golf.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And you think of some of the best disc golf courses that for me I still need to check out, like Maple Hill is one I still need to check out for sure. And then Discmania also has 2 championship courses kind of right by their Finland office, I think, too, that I want to check out.
Yeah, one, I forgot what it's called, but it's one of the top courses everybody says to go play. I will find it for you guys, but I think it's going away soon.
That's Yarva, right?
Yarva, there you go, that's the name. I guess the land that is what it's used for, it's going to be used for a different purpose, and so I think it's going away because of that.
UC kind of put some work into a new one, right?
He did, and that's a whole different course as well.
That hasn't been. I don't think that's been played for tournaments yet. I remember seeing like a teaser video, but
he definitely had a teaser video.
I don't think that it's had like a champion level tournament yet. if I'm not mistaken.
I know it's like his baby, and he wants it to be for sure.
It's still like a growing baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's not quite a preteen yet.
It's a toddler. It's still she's still growing.
Exactly. A lot of trees already though. Like it's a more mature course for sure. As a beginner course would start out as. But yeah, I heard it's already pretty tough to play on. I heard Eagles only shot probably like 8 down there. But I mean that's still pretty good. But I mean
Eagles pretty good.
Yeah. That's championship level scores there for sure. Because I think in even Beaver State Fling, where they've got, well, they do play 18-hole rounds.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to keep scores, worse than about 10 under for those top guys.
Yeah. I was just thinking of the fact that we've got, these amazing courses kind of around the world and nation, but we don't really have yet a complex like that of just championship level courses slammed together like that. Yeah,
the only other one I can think of is Charlotte, and some of them aren't quite championship level, but I know when I was there for Worlds in 2012, I think 12 or 13, they had 17 courses in use.
Oh dang.
And it was pro-am, so there were some amateur courses for sure, but that's the only place that I could think of that would have that kind of density of quality.
Realize how many they had out there. I knew they had a huge
I think they have more than that. And I know some of them are not, you're not going to go out of your way to play, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. And they were all within, I think, half an hour of each other.
Dang.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder, I feel like I want to check out now. I kind of want to check out and see how many of those are like championship level.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the ones we played blew me away. That was kind of my first taste of dense woods coming from Colorado. And that was an eye-opener. I know somebody just broke the record for most individual holes played in a day. He played either 17 or 18 courses in Charlotte in one day. So there's a little news.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a little news for you.
Yeah, maybe Google that and make sure I'm not blowing smoke. But
I'm tired after the max I've done is like 227s and 18. But
yeah, I think it was Colton that was telling me, and he said he started at 4 a.m. So
that's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm looking at disc golf course review, and yeah, Charlotte, that's really dense. There's a lot of 18 holes. I was expecting there to be,
there's a lot of good stuff. And a lot of good players have come from there, no surprise.
Yeah, because is Jeremy Colling from that area? I know he always shouts out Charlotte.
Him and Michael Johansson, and I know a few others that I'm not going to remember. But
they have Hornet's Nest.
Yeah, Hornet's Nest, Renaissance, Nevin, Bradford. Those are the ones the pros played for the regular.
Dang.
Nevin opened my eyes to how bad I could play.
Yeah, because they're all pretty dense courses, right?
Yeah, and those were like 800-foot holes through 20-foot fairways where there is no secondary fairway. It's pitched back to the fairway. I remember throwing backwards like 4 times at Nevin. And some of them were like good shots. You're like, that was a great shot. And then you're like, I just threw backwards. All right.
Okay.
You just hit a tree and it just goes into
ricochet into the woods and then battle the spider webs and then the bees.
Is there a lot of like underbrush and stuff out there too, or is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man!
But it grows like it's 8 feet high.
Jeez.
Oh my!
There is no progression off the fairway, which in Colorado we don't have. Like we have some dense courses, but there's always another fairway. You can always find a way to progress.
Right.
There's none of that out there.
Yeah, even courses up here in the Northwest, I mean, we have a bunch of trees and, we do have courses with a fair amount of underbrush and stuff, but yeah, we don't.
Yeah, you don't have that humidity to support
that. Least, throw a forehand roller or, some kind of flex forehand to get up the fairway in some capacity.
Well, and I'm sure guys like Ricky could, scramble their way up a little bit, but
yeah, still there's
you're gonna want to get on the
compare
fairway.
Everything we do to what Ricky does.
Maybe drop expectations a little bit. I don't know.
For sure. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, that it seems sick. So when do we what do you guys think? Finland next year?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. I'm
Let's
down.
do Finland.
We'll
The
do a
2021
podcast from a
tour.
boat.
Okay. The Boatcast.
Yep.
DISCMANIACS Boatcast. So, yeah. And then any other kind of news you guys have been seeing? I know right now it's kind of weird with quarantine going on, but are you guys seeing any news going on out there for tournaments or anything?
I mean, it's not really news, but the YouTube scene has been pretty fun.
True.
Simon's got like 65,000 followers or subscribers now, which is crazy.
Yeah, he's over there
crushing
doing
it.
double aces and
Yeah, I mean, the content
crazy.
the content that's been coming out's been pretty sweet with everybody bored, and I know Ricky and Paul and
The challenges
Tristan's been grinding, and a lot of the YouTube stuff's popping off, which is cool to see.
Yeah, you wonder if that's, it's kind of cool that there's already a little bit of that culture and community around disc golf, just because pretty much all of our tournaments are posted on YouTube. That's how most of us watch coverage in the first place.
Right.
So cool to see definitely those top
Well, and it's
pros
good for
getting
these-
a chance to just get more exposure
Yeah, and
when they're
I
not
know
playing
some of
than
them
when
are
they
doing
would sometime.
they're doing like little Patreon accounts, like anything to support these pros that are grinding on the road every weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I almost wonder too if in the end, looking back, that some of the pros that maybe aren't always going to be on tournament coverage, are actually, because they're not having to prep for tournaments and play in tournaments, if they're actually seeing more exposure now than
Yeah,
they would have
might
if they were
be.
even on tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of the challenges kind of going around too. Simon
Yeah,
do
Simon and Eagle,
challenges.
and yeah.
Ricky, Paul.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, I saw Paige is doing a bunch of stuff. Actually, I saw Paige and Nate
Yeah, they
Perkins.
built a tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Avocado Open. They just raised some money and dragged Rico and Philo up there to go
Yeah.
gamble.
Yeah, that was sick. So,
Yeah, that was cool. I watched it all. It was fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange. I just kind of wonder how much, once all this is done, how much it's gonna change kind of the way we're used to consuming disc golf in the last, 5 years basically,
Right.
where maybe we don't need a Nike or, whatever to come in and drop millions of dollars if, we can do stuff like this and gain more exposure to the sport just through that alone.
Simon keeps hitting double aces. People are going to see it.
Yeah, I haven't been checking out Brody's YouTube channel very much.
He's been grinding.
He has been. Him and his wife have been
Yeah,
both
they've been posting and playing a
courses
lot.
and-
Yeah, looking at it, I was just looking through Simon's recent videos, and most of his videos were floating around 40,000 views, like 60,000. Yeah, Brody's 332,000 from a few months ago with Paul.
My gosh.
Yeah. Brody's a good thing to
282,000
add,
for his first ace. And these are 36, 44 minutes, 23 minutes with 200,000 views. I mean,
Yeah.
these are pretty
They're not,
pretty
they're
high.
not like little clips.
Yeah, it definitely shows that the sport's growing, like for sure, if you're seeing that many views. And
Yeah,
Brody
'cause I
definitely
mean-
coming from a ultimate background, showing more ultimate players. Oh yeah, like he's going to disc golf. Maybe that's showing more players turn towards disc golf than ultimate.
hmm
So it's definitely a growth for the sport.
Yeah, I'm even just looking at some of his counts from just historically. I mean, he was, some of his videos I think probably got a lot of exposure once kind of that trick shot era.
Yeah, I mean,
Dawned
he came
upon
up
us
in
a
the
few
prime
years
of
ago.
that. Yeah.
But I mean, still, it was, pretty regularly through here. He's definitely got some million view type stuff, but I mean, 500,000, 200,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think
know.
he's making a living playing disc golf on YouTube right now, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. And most of these higher view count ones are a lot less time, where it's like 10 minutes, 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
kind of right at that. Just get enough time for the ad revenue at that 10-minute mark.
Yep.
Versus now he's like 30
like
minutes.
Full rounds and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully that's
pretty
translating
crazy.
into, you know, pretty steady income. Plus now having a sponsor, which I think before, I'm not sure with Brody, I'm sure he had some kind of sponsors, right? When he was...
Yeah, I mean, it was like he had the whole Dark Horse thing, and that was all still through Discraft, but on the Ultimate side.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought
'cause
Dark
Discraft
Horse was
is
just
like
his thing, basically, was what I
Yeah,
was thinking.
that was his brand he was trying to promote for sure. But Discraft was the one who produced the Frisbees, and obviously Stamper printed on top of the disc
they
for
like the
him.
Ultimate Star or the Ultra
Yeah.
Star or whatever it's called.
Gotcha.
Definitely,
Yeah.
Well, today I learned.
Now
You
you
learned,
know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Paige, her channel is getting pretty crazy now, just with all the content she's coming out. I saw from that Avocado Open video, people commenting like, this is the most beautifully
that
shot
course
round
looked
I've ever
crazy.
seen, and she's definitely bringing something different for sure. So, and I think even the Jomez guys, they're doing
They're doing
content
like
just as much
podcasts
as
and-
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody's getting by,
yeah.
but we're getting new stuff out of it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's an interesting time, and it's kind of cool for those of us trying to grind our way up in the disc golf media world. It's created a kind of a niche too for instance, there's another guy that's on the Discmania ambassador team. Shout out to him, and his channel is Caddy Disc Golf, and he started just doing 9-hole, basically making it into mini tournament coverages, and he's starting to get more and more views for that type of content as well. Whereas me and him usually rely on more like disc golf reviews and, you know, kind of that vlog style.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's even pushing some of us smaller content creators to get a little bit more into what's traditionally pretty much only, you know, like Gateway, Jomez,
Right.
all those, you know, popular tournament channels. There was just so much content out there already that it didn't super make sense to, you know, post that kind of stuff or dedicate your channel to that kind of stuff, because there was already such high quality content out there anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, even from my perspective, getting some of the benefits, I feel like, as well, just because people are longing for disc
People want
golf,
some disc.
trapped at home, and
Yep.
you know, can't go out with the buddies, no weeklies. So yeah, it's definitely bumped that you know, number of eyeballs that are willing to just stare at disc golf on a phone or a laptop or something. So but yeah, so far, what's the disc golf situation like up in Colorado, by the way? Are you guys pretty much all your courses back open now, or what's going on over there?
Yeah, so we got courses back in Fort Collins. They left all the 9-holers, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't know if they just like forgot about them or or what. But they
I
pulled
think it was more.
the two 18-hole courses for about a month, and they've been back for I think a week now, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
it's been nice.
I think it's more. They pulled those two 18s because that's where more people are playing. Definitely Eudora, which is
Yeah, I think in print the idea was good. I think in practice it kind of didn't make any sense, because I played a couple 9-holers during this stint, kind of expecting it to be dead, and it was like there was 14 groups on a 9-hole course in LaPorte.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it kind of backfired a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
like you
I
got to pull
agree.
them all or pull none, but yeah, we got them all back now, so life's good again.
Oh, nice. Are you guys still limited to group sizes and stuff though? Like, are weeklies and stuff still
Yeah,
on
I
hold?
think they want 4 or less or 5 or less. I'm a hermit. I play alone. Doesn't matter for me.
and I mean, I'm like 25 minutes away from Tyler. I'm in Wellington, and we have one course up here, and they didn't pull it at all. But not a lot of people come up here to play, but we definitely had some more heads showing up, asking around on Facebook, hey, is your guys' course still here? We're like, yeah, it's still here. And so a lot more people started showing up, but not a lot. So they still kept the course. No one was really maintaining the course. Still a lot of weeds growing everywhere. But Yeah.
Well, it is
was nice
Colorado,
still-
am I right?
Yeah. Hey now.
Oh, man. But yeah, it was nice to have it. And now, I mean, as of now, we definitely are traveling out a little bit more and playing more courses. It's getting warmer here, so definitely a lot more people are playing disc golf, but not a threat to pooled baskets or anything. More people are encouraging to call ahead and reserve, so you don't have large groups showing up to play.
Oh, okay. So that course by you, is that like a state park then or something, or what? Is it a private
No,
course?
it's a public park. It goes through like it's like 3 sections basically of a public park. There's a long bike path that goes through it, and then basically on the side of the bike path is the course. But
So-
a lot of people keep their distance anyways. You never see more than like 4 people on a card playing there. So it's kind of like we're already making rules and we're respecting the rules that they were putting out.
Right. So when I was just confused because you said like call ahead and reserve. Is that just
Well, so like as of right now, like there's a lot of private courses and all that stuff, and
okay.
courses up
some of,
towards
like,
the mountains
stuff.
Yeah,
just other
Yeah.
courses you're saying?
yeah.
Gotcha. And those ones are kind of you guys' higher tier courses up there, I would imagine, or
Yeah, some of them for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, Colorado doesn't have the greatest disc golf to offer unless you go into the hills, the mountains. So
right. Yeah, I've
those
been down around like Boulder, I think. I played
Mm-hmm.
like a couple 9 holes that not terrible, but you know,
yeah, nothing to
executive-
really write home about.
yeah.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, it's probably been a while since you've been back, but they do have a new course on a golf course, which is honestly,
Yeah,
I mean,
Eagle designed, right?
yeah, Eagle helped design it
Oh, okay.
with Patrick Adair.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. Iron Flats, I think, is what it's called.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Yeah, but it's a really good course. Honestly, they did a good job designing it. Definitely has some eagle holes for sure that aren't human. But
He just built it to boost his rating in leagues.
It's just like he
something
just
like that.
He's boosted.
Yeah, I played it twice, and it's a challenge for sure.
he just like turned a par 5 ball golf hole into a par 3. Is that what happened?
Yeah, and
Something
then,
like
and then he
that.
birdies it and nobody else does. Something
yeah,
like that.
right. Just like rolls a PD2 for some reason, and
Yeah, for like 750 feet, and then
yeah,
hits his 60-footer and walks off, you know?
yeah. You're
You know
like,
how you
oh,
do.
Eagle rolls a PD2. He must throw it like, you know, flat or like Anheuser. Nope, the dude Heiser flips it. And,
Yeah. It's got some pop.
yeah.
I beat him a lot when he was younger, just for the record.
Oh
Or
yeah.
not,
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
I
When he
shouldn't
was
say when he
8.
was younger. I just beat him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mopped the floor with that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Or-
All
Well,
over.
yeah. When you think about
Well, he was
how
like
young
13
he is
years
now,
old. Yeah. and then he got really good.
Yeah. And then he, just got the eagle wingspan and
Yeah, he just kind of figured it out real quick, kind of.
yeah, I'm
Eagle
trying to remember the
wingspan.
first tournament I had really seen him in. I mean, he was already sponsored by Discmania and I'm sure well on the map for most people who actually pay attention to.
He took a little while to get sponsored. It kind of blew me away.
Yeah,
He won Colorado State's shoot, I don't know when. Maybe 2015, somewhere around there. And he was already 1,000 rated. He was like young, through a mile, and he wasn't sponsored yet. And I remember talking to him. I was like, "Hey, I'll put in a word for Latitude." And he's like, "No, I really want Discmania." And I was like, "Well, you're a beast. You should get what you want." So he held out, and there you are now.
Dang.
yeah. Now
Yeah. So I tried to steal him from you, just for the record.
sometimes you got to try a little harder, Tyler.
Well, I'm a good person. If he wants
are.
Discmania, then you know what? He should pursue Discmania.
Yeah, true.
But it's okay. We're basically like, you and me are basically like kind of sister wives now. It's
Yeah,
kinda
we're
like,
we're like buddy now. It's pretty sweet. I dig it.
yeah. We're answering to the same people nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, talk about the essence, the Latitude, Discmania.
Yeah. Well, and you guys honestly you were talking about the glide on it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I got to take a little Latitude pride and Latitude has, I don't know if it's plastic or design. I don't know if do you know if Discmania designs those molds or if Latitude does?
So it's more of a UC and Domus. I think if I'm saying that correctly. Domas, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of so UC kind of says, hey, I want a disc that does this but feels like this, and then
so like a little collaboration kind of.
It's definitely a collab thing, and for sure, and that's from what I know, that's what it is. And so he's like, hey, I want a disc that does this 8-speed, and I want to yeah. So that's what it is. It's more UC speaks out, and this is what we get.
The Latitude Glide is a thing. There is something about it.
For sure.
I remember when I switched, it was like, because I threw a lot of PD2s, and shoot, that was probably my main driver when I switched. And I remember the Glide was like, holy cow, doing something. I mean, there's trade-offs for all of the flight characteristics, but that's definitely something I've noticed.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you think about, the Instinct is, kind of, similar category as the Essence. And
that's the other fairway, right?
Yes,
that's the fairway
was
driver.
one of the first. That was actually the first.
That was the one the Eagle was throwing all over that everybody's.
And
that thing looks sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to compare the two, the Instinct is definitely a more stable. Can come out of an Annie more than the Essence can. The Essence is going to be here.
I was watching Colton Montgomery throw in the Essence, right? That's the new one.
Yes.
Yeah, and that thing was going like 500 feet for him, man.
Yeah, like you said, it's that
dude, he just
glide.
Kept freaking gliding.
Yeah, and he has
he
a lot
also
of power.
throws really far, but
I mean, with 10-speed driver.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, he was definitely hyzer flipping it, but it looked like controllable.
It's
pretty stable flight. Not like finicky for him.
Yeah, which is crazy. But
I say with all speeds of arms and from beginner to advanced to a fast arm like Colton's, you're definitely going to see that it's a controllable fairway for sure, and you're gonna get a little bit more distance off of it for sure. That has more glide than any other fairway, or I know some fairways from other companies, but it has a lot of glide for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and even thinking about even the Enigma, like that's their distance driver that came up with for Discmania, like that has been pretty popular with people that I play disc golf with, especially. I mean, I'm obviously always pushing Discmania on them, but
right.
But kind of that lower arm speed, intermediate type arm, which I also identify with. It's it's interesting how I noticed the glide in that too, and the method even with the way it feels like it's going to be just super overstable.
Agreed.
But then it's still stable, but yeah, the glide for sure. I guess I never really thought about it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely something I noticed.
And do you think it's the type of plastic the Latitude uses? Because it definitely feels different than any other Innova's plastic or
the plastic. I know. I've had a couple of conversations with Tomas, and he's more of like I don't know how to say it. He prefers, like, he didn't really want to make, like, when the Justice came out, the really overstable mid.
Yeah.
We didn't have a disc like that. He just doesn't really believe in it. Like, you shouldn't need that. You should be able to finesse your shots. You should know how to throw your shots. And then I remember he came out to Kansas for the Glassblown Open and was like, "Oh God, you guys need something like this." Like, it gets
30 mile an hour gust happened.
But I mean, that's kind of his philosophy going with his designs. I think there's a lot of dome and a lot of glide.
Yeah. I was watching UC basically did an interview with him, and I think he said something kind of to that effect, that when they're testing stuff over there, they're really looking for the disc to fly. Basically.
Yeah, it shouldn't fly like a phone book,
Yeah, they want
which
you to
there's
be able
time
to
and place
shots.
for a phone book, but
yeah, sure.
Always keep my phone book in my bag. Just in case,
you gotta have a phone book, man. It gets windy out here.
Bro, I hazard flip phone books.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I got sponsored by them, he asked me what what mid-ranges I was throwing, and I said the Fuse, which is
Oh,
similar to like a Comet, is really the only other disc that I know of that
it's
is
awesome.
similar. It's very flippy. It's very glidey. And I feel like it was a big part of why I got sponsored. He's like, oh, he likes the Fuse. Okay.
Yeah.
he must know how to throw a Frisbee. Okay, good.
Right.
me being my 4 years of playing, I'd never thrown a Comet, but I've had people tell me, like, I'll be surprised if you could throw a Comet this far, because I've heard it's flippy. But the only Fuse I've thrown is Tyler's Fuse. One time we're playing together, and he's like, here, try this, and it was a flippy mid-range for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you gotta control your, and I think that's just kind of his design philosophy. But
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. I mean, he definitely seems. I think it's cool. I'm looking forward to hopefully through that relationship between himself and UC that we get to hear more from him on kind of his philosophies and because
well, I just think the collaboration's so cool. I love the, disc golf companies don't need to be enemies. We're all trying to grow the sport.
for
Like,
sure.
disc golf's a growing game. It's not there yet. You don't need to be Nike versus Reebok. We're not,
Yeah, agreed.
we're not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, just to throw sprinkle a little something in there, like, so me working for Discmania, we also have a great kid who's working for us. His name is Josiah. He's also on the Latitude team, and he loves it. Honestly, he loves seeing what's going on behind the scenes of a disc golf company, and then it's also being sponsored by another one, and he honestly loves it. And like, he sees like, oh, like we're so pumped, like, oh my god, like whether it's Evolution or for our active line or something coming from Innova, he sees like how hyped we are for everything we get and our relationship with all the companies.
Yeah, and I think it's cool. You guys kind of just, he's Latitude sponsored working at a Discmania store. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Be buddy.
Wait, did we get him in the like? Is this like like a Game of Thrones marriage kind of thing?
Something like that, yeah, for sure.
Man, that's a lot of responsibility on his head now.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, it came after the partnership, right? With the
Yes,
Discmania
it
Latitude, which obviously helps things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was really cool, honestly. Like, it was so, like, I think 4 months into the whole, after we announced the whole Evolution lineup and active lineup, and then here comes Josiah, and it was honestly awesome. Like, he brings in plastic and all that stuff, and he's like, oh, like, this feels like this feels like that, and it's awesome. Honestly, we see both sides of the story, as you can say.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that feel good note, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it an episode. So
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining me. Maybe we'll get Facebook and Twitter and all that good stuff. You might see us popping up on Twitch here, stuff like that, out to you guys who are listening. So thank you, anybody who's listening to this. Appreciate you. And
Thank you.
yeah, maybe we'll get some more guests on here. Maybe we've been trying to convince Austin to come hang out with us. Tyler, maybe you can get some Latitude friends or just people in that world.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, thank you again for joining me for episode 1 of the DISCMANIACS podcast, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, guys, thanks for joining.